definitely, brother John has been such an inspiration for us. In again, this movement we've been doing, looking at African American issues and how we're being viewed and portrayed and treated in this this crazy world, right?
Yes, sister. Just a little bit housekeeping as for in reference to the places where you could watch these shows on. Not only this show, the other
All our
tons and tons of shows. Go to aocinc.org. aocinc.org. Also, if you on a certain web browser, you can download, and even your Android phone, you can download the app and take the show everywhere. So you can see the station, the 24-hour live stream on both of the channels. Let's say if you're watching on Cox Cable, regular traditional cable TV, you can catch us on channel 15 in Cox in the 5 parish area of South Louisiana. And if you're in the Lafayette and other surrounding area which carries LUS, you can catch it on channel 3. So remember that, people. You could watch it on Cox and LUS in the Lafayette area. And also, you could download the app and go to aocinc.org.
Exactly. Thank you. Thank you for that. We came here today because we wanted to talk about some issues, and it has been a while since BFJ has had this opportunity. With the temperature of the political atmosphere here, climate here.
You might want to, this is live TV, you might want to grab that mic and pull it a little closer.
Make sure you can hear me?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. That's just direct interview.
It's been a while, okay? It's been, and that's all right, that's fine. You know, I don't mind. But yes, so we want to kind of talk about some things, and we kind of titled this conversation or discussion, why are we still fighting?
Yeah.
Why are we still fighting after all this time? After almost close to 70 years, we're still trying to find our space in this crazy world here as African Americans. Some of us have found our place. Some of us have found where we want to be, but a lot of us haven't. And a lot of us are still lost, and a lot of us are confused. And so we want to kind of delve into that in this political landscape. Where do we belong? Why aren't we the loudest voice in the rooms? Why is it that we have to always wait for everyone else to do before we become the focal point? And it's not, I don't want to get this mixed up with me saying, oh, why us, why us, why us? No, what I'm saying is, why haven't we had a strong enough platform? Why haven't we had an impactful platform to make a difference where we don't have to do all the fighting all the time? That our place and our space is already there for us. So can we like delve into that from not only just local, but also on the national realm?
Yes. Sister, you want to wait, or you want to take a
wait? We can wait.
Okay. Caller. I think she want to get into the sister want to get into the show before we take a phone call. Okay.
Or maybe we should go ahead.
Go ahead. Yeah, just go ahead. Answer.
Yes.
Let's see. Oh. I really don't know how to work this phone.
That's what we both gonna be.
I guess it's
but
different.
That's all right. That's all right.
This one right here, the microphone. Speaker? Oh, speaker. Okay.
There we go. Okay.
Sister, call back. We're sorry about that. Because I will get it on Wednesday. But you know, the key point I'm thinking about, if that's what you're saying, is unity. That's the problem. Sister, good morning.
Good morning.
Good afternoon.
Good evening.
Yes, good evening. I wanted to say a very enlightening
Well, okay. Well, we'll get with the director. I'll take care of it. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, I want to make a comment.
Go ahead.
Sure.
Later.
Sure.
Okay. Okay. Well, let's find out where that feedback coming
Yeah,
from.
that's
Okay.
fine.
Okay. Go ahead, sister.
So as I was saying, why are we still not prepared? And I'm not saying this on the level of everyone not being prepared, but why is it that we as a group in before Brother Jay left, he made a comment about saying about unity. Unity is important, but unity also has its pros and cons. Unity, you can get a whole bunch of us together, but we all have to have like minds. We have to all be walking in the same direction, okay? Getting a group of us together and we all just together, that's not what unity is. That's the cons of it. And getting the wrong people, and I hate to say this, but the wrong people in place to make those differences. And looking at it from the standpoint that, okay, so we want to come together. We're coming together for a common issue, okay? And in in the commonality of that issue, are we all on the same table? I mean, are we all at the same table? Are we all sitting around and saying, okay, you know what? Yeah, let's go ahead and go with that one. Let's go ahead and go with that one. This is what I found on that situation. How can we put this in with our main situation, what we're dealing with? You know, that's where we got to think about when we talk about unity. The cons of unity, that's the pros. When we say that's the pros of unity, knowing that you're coming in and we're all on the same sheet of music and we all have that one goal. The downside or the con side of a unity is you had a whole bunch of people together. You have a lot of chiefs and not enough Indians. You have all these different issues on the outside. You have personality issues. And I hate to say this, but sometimes you can't even trust some of the people that you want to unify with. That becomes a problem because it has never changed. We were talking about on our show the other night, on the Kelly B. Frank show, we were talking about meritorious manumission. And if you're familiar with meritorious manumission, we know that that still is in play here. It hasn't gone anywhere. We thought when it became a law back in the 1700s, 1670, I think it was 1670, in Virginia, we thought, you know, it went through and it's supposed to disappear. Well, it hasn't disappeared. It's still here. So you do not want to unify with people who have their own agenda, because that's basically what it boils down to. Somebody who has their own agenda and they're willing to do whatever it takes to make that agenda take place. You need somebody who's truly, truly from the heart is going to work and make things happen for the greater good. And I think the greater good has disappeared. It has vanished because there's no longer the greater good. And why is that? That's what we have to find out. Why is it that the greater good is either not good enough or they decide that they no longer feel like they're the greater good? How do we fix that? How do we come to the point where, okay, yeah, we got this going on, but how do we say, okay, you know what, let's go back to the basics. Let's go back to where the greater good is important. The greater good has to be the reason why we're doing this. You know, I realized working on the local level in my city where I live at, in my parish, which is Rapides Parish, it especially now, because I know a lot of different cities and parishes have a lot of runoffs going on. It's a group. We have a group of us that we Can We Befriend Show, and we also educate our local our citizens about the politics that go on locally and on the national level. So a lot of people have learned from the information that we shared, but not enough of them want to take the action to fix some of the problems. We'll go to a city council meeting, and our city council meetings, especially in the city where we live at or where we reside, it has come to where the citizens are not important. And this is a city that has predominantly Black population. We've become very much so marginalized. We're not important. And when we talk about coming together for the common good, it's a lot of people who have already proven where their loyalty is. Their loyalty is not with the people. The loyalty is with the power structure. And because of that, we continue to suffer. We've been very instrumental in making sure our voices are heard when it comes to a lot of issues, when it comes to housing, when it comes to employment, when it comes to safety, when it comes to clean environments. We've made our voice heard. We're very well known. Can We Befriend Show is very well known. The 915 3rd Street, send all your complaints to, is very much well known because of the work that has been done. So when you don't have, if I'm fighting for you, if I'm making provisions for you, or if I'm doing all I'm supposed to do for you, I need you to say, okay, now that you've given us these tools and resources, we're going to go ahead and fight that fight. And I think you guys are having that similar issue where the greater good is not there.
Yes.
And we are very passionate, and we're very empathetic toward our people. So we kind of get down, and we have to pick each other up from time to time because of it's a lot of work.
It's just somebody, for those out there who just text us with we have a technical issue with some background noises. We're waiting on the in-house director to come in to clear it up. We have some, it's just our first time doing it live and over here in the big studio at AOC Community. But we're gonna clear it up, and we just be honest with our community. Yeah. You might want to text us a number that to ask them to get back that we have a lot. We got a lot of heavy background technical noise on air.
You said there's a lot of feedback.
A lot of feedback.
And look, this comes with the territory. It comes with the territory.
That file we picked, it had traffic noise in it.
Oh!
I didn't even think about that. I'm so sorry.
That's all right. That's fine. That
should
would
be gone now.
I
didn't even think about that.
I didn't know whether we were going to.
Right. Yeah.
That was one of our choices.
This is a live show. But we still have excellent people over here at AOC Community Media. Please support community media.
Yes.
But we haven't been in the studio in a while, so we got excuses. Dog ate our homework, all kind of stuff,
But we haven't been in the studio together in a while.
Yeah, but we got a boss out there who's still quarterback, and she called.
Yeah, that's what it was. That's exactly what it was.
Yes.
Hello?
Hello?
Yes, I'm so glad that y'all got that problem fixed.
It's working on your nerve, but this is live, boss lady.
I know it's live. However, we have people that drive 3 hours to come to a show, and we have this,
It was the fault. It was my fault. It was actually my fault. I
Yeah.
can say that. Thank you.
I thought a company was calling me with the new number I see.
Okay, so y'all look really good and we could hear y'all.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
So
Yeah.
You was discussing relationship or
No, I was talking. We were talking about. We were talking about why are we still fighting? We're talking about it on the level of political. Why are we still fighting on the political realm as African Americans? That's what I was talking about.
oh, okay, well, I'm gonna say the reason why we are still fighting is because of ignorance. It's no way on earth that I should be in disagreement with you with whatever you're trying to achieve. Take for instance, they have this young couple who has started a business. I can hear you.
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead.
We have this young couple that has started a business. Now, the business that they started, is like, snowball and other things that they have. And they really have put their all in it. So, I was trying to figure out, how can I support them, even though I may not go to them once a week or everything or anything like that. Why wouldn't I just tell them, look, I will give $25 once a week, every week, which will come out to $100, just to make sure that you all have something like to pay the bill. And can you imagine if 20 of us done this? That black business can flourish.
Right.
And it's ideal to me. Not me, but other people that I know. I've seen them going into those Vietnamese stores, those Korean stores, those Muslim stores. They don't give back a penny back to our community. You can't even go and buy and ask them, can you take a chance on this? Can you take it? No. So why do they continuously get our money? That's just throwing money down the drain. It's just crazy to me.
Yeah.
You go in there, you have all these women line up to buy their weeds, their wigs, and everything, and they disrespect them to the high core. Something is wrong with that.
Yes.
Yes.
It's all about unity, and that when we started off the show before, we knew we had a technical issue. That's what I was alluding to when you asked why we're still fighting, because we don't have any unity, sister.
Exactly. And a lot of times too with people who start off with businesses, you have to know when you want to start a business, you have to understand what is the reason why I'm starting my business and what problem am I solving when I start this business. So it's great to start a business. There's nothing wrong with that. But lots of times the reason why there's such a problem or you come into issues is when you choose a business that's not a problem solver. Because people are about results. People have a lot of issues going on and they want to be able to solve that problem, whatever that issue is. And because I want to open up a flower shop in my neighborhood, that flowers might not be the issue. You know what I'm saying? I need to think about something that's going to help people to be continually coming back, being those return customers with the service or the product that I am providing. So sometimes with businesses, you have to look at the need and you have to research. You have to do your market research. You have to do natural research on what that area or that community needs. And when you go back to unity, we're talking about what's the common ground, what's the common good, what can we all do together to make something happen. So yeah, that's what we were talking about. You're correct. But yes, when it comes to businesses, you definitely have to see where there is a need for that particular service or product, first and foremost.
Yes, sir.
Did that answer your question?
Yes, ma'am. It did.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay, sister, we're gonna bring up another topic later on in the, I want to go roll into this. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, sister, you know, we talking about this political climate, and we still fighting in this political climate. You know, some of us, you know, rather switch than fight. I heard Minister Farrakhan say that. And the thing is this, you're living in a capitalist society.
Yes.
A lot of democratic societies or capitalist society, it's all about money. Money makes the world go round. You know, you hear it in the rap song, ching ching, dollar bill, y'all. You know, old school rap. But sister, what can, as we go into the future and we have this new paradigm in America now, well, this new is the same, but it's new old thing. Where do we go as a people, as a community? Should we look at each other who share the same DNA and the same color as people who want to be inclusive in America? We have to lose our identity and go along to just make it through. But when you see all groups and other nationalities benefit more than our groups as a whole, you know, so.
Well, we have to look at that also from the generational mindset. When our ancestors were brought over here during slavery, you guys are very familiar with the Willie Lynch syndrome. Are you familiar with the light skin and darks competition? That hasn't gone anywhere, you guys. That hasn't gone on. And the classism, it's worse now among us.
Right.
So when you have those are the issues that we need to address first and foremost. Anyway, when you're talking about unity, you need to address those issues among ourselves first before we talk about coming together. Like I also mentioned, I don't know if you heard me, I was talking about meritorious manumission. All of those things were already put in place to make sure that there's always going to be division among us. It's like throwing a rock and then hiding your hand and saying, I didn't throw that rock. So you create that system within a system that's already broken already, you know, and then say, I didn't do that. What are you talking about? I didn't touch that. You guys just can't get along. You guys don't know because it's ingrained. It's been taught. And see, what we don't want to, another thing we don't like to admit is that a lot of things we're taught. We're not taught on the outside. It's not external things that we're taught to be the way we are. It's internal. So if you've been told all your life from mom, dad, sister, brother, everybody in your family generationally, that you're not this and you're this and you've never taken time out to say, you know what, I can't believe that. I'm seeing things differently. And if you don't ever do that, you'll never understand where your position is in life. So it goes back to starting from the foundation, fixing the foundation. Once you fix that foundation, it shouldn't be a problem for us to all come together and work things out. It should not be an issue with that at all.
Yeah, I want to segue into this, and since you're here, you're a veteran. You
Yes.
recently celebrated Veterans Day,
Mm-hmm.
and our previous caller is a veteran also,
Yes.
and she's involved in veteran activities. You also too. I'm reading this, and a lot of the people who voted in this last election voted for the new elected person based on that he would support the military, but
yes,
he appointed a committee called the Doge Committee, whatever the hell that means. You know, I'm sorry to say it that way, but him and Vivek Ramaswamy, I guess I'm pronouncing it right, and also Elon Musk, two people who are immigrants who pushing the notion that we should send certain people back, but yet on my list they would be the first two to send back. Because they are immigrants in such a way. But one of the proposals of that Doge Committee, I keep saying Doge Committee, veterans health care could be cut by the Department of Government Efficiency. Well, that's a new name. That hit me hard. And I think about when I see those new department or whatever, I think about pre-Nazi Germany and how these new programs and department are much like patterned after when the Nazi regime came about in the 30s in Germany. And so you got to wonder how veterans who voted for these people going to take this, to cut health care visits. And I'm going to just read this short thing and I'm going to leave it at that. President-elect Donald Trump newly created Department of Government Efficiency, that's started up by Elon Musk now, could impact health care for veterans if plans to cut appropriation for expired bills go ahead. So that's the headlines in Newsweek.
Okay, they're saying to cut the health care?
Cut some program that has already expired, but they kept them going, and they found need for them.
Okay, I got you.
And that all the new services. For instance, Lafayette would have never had that veterans hospital, a clinic, that bigger clinic.
Satellite clinic, what we call satellite clinics. Yeah.
They would have never had that if there was to cut that back in the day. So this is giving you an example of what they're proposing to do. So I don't know how you feel about that as a veteran.
And also working in the system. I'm surprised that veterans even voted for them, period. That's a mind-boggling thing there. And we can go into why a lot of people who voted for these people and realize that you said earlier, I think you said something about ignorance. No, I think that was Sister Khadijah, I apologize. Said something about ignorance. What I've realized having conversations since this whole thing happened, this election happened, that a lot of people are very ignorant of policies and how the government works and how politics work. It's amazing. And I want you guys to understand, when we say ignorance, it's not in a way of putting someone down. We're using that. Ignorance just means lack of knowledge. That's all. It's not any, we can use it in a derogatory way, but really ignorance is just lack of knowledge. And so a lot of people went in to vote for him. A lot of them did it out of spite. They didn't do it out of any common reason that he was actually running on. It's just out of spite.
Like you say, when you cut your nose off to spite your face.
And a lot of people are like that. They prefer to do that than to do what's right. Not even the ideal of voting for Vice President Kamala Harris. It's the ideal that you voted and knowing there's nothing behind that vote. But a lot of people are already talking about buyer's remorse with all the things he's going to do. My opinion is I don't think he's going to get in there. January 20th, to each his own, but I think there's something brewing.
Well, if you keep eating them big old McDonald's hamburgers,
I think it's something brewing legal.
Coronary bypass away from dropping deceased being deceased.
I think it's more a legal thing.
And you also got divine intervention for Christians who, like himself, to grab him by the P president. Yes. And that's another whole nother subject. We talk about the religious part. No disrespect. I forgot about this. Be respectful.
Yes, be respectful. But the religious side of this whole thing is just mind-boggling.
It is.
And if you talk outside of the people that you commonly talk to, you will learn a lot about things, about people who they truly are. You really will. So
maybe Judeo-Christian values are maybe the same as Satanistic values. I don't know. I mean, I'm seeing a pattern here. Exactly. If you say grab him by the you know what, or you saying we're going to put a pedophile as the attorney general, or you say you're going to put somebody in the head of the Department of Defense as somebody who maybe more than likely committed sexual assault. So, and then you could say you're a good, loving Christian. Maybe Christianity, in a sense, is more like the Church of Satan. I mean, they're showing me examples.
Well,
I know the religious perspective people will call and get mad at me for saying that.
but the thing is, I think, to be honest with you, I don't think it shouldn't be, has anything to do with religion.
Mm-hmm.
Because you know what? Your morals are going to be your morals.
Yeah.
Whether they're good or bad. You're responsible for your morals. And I think we've gotten away from, we've gotten away from the needs of the people, and we've gotten too religious. We've allowed religion to control everything now. And also, we've allowed religion to disguise how we really feel and how we really do things.
So, sister, they use religion in this election too. They use it.
They used it very much.
And they use
Evangelical,
it like a fiddle, huh?
yes. And then you talk about the Christian nationalists. We already know what they believe in. So me and him, we kind of are similar with the religion thing. I don't do religion in that sense.
I do spirituality.
Spirituality.
Good and bad.
Yes.
You
Either
know.
way. And I just think if we get back to the basics of people just being good people and people wanting to help, there is a lack of empathy in basically everything nowadays when it comes to our children, being able to sit up and sign off bills to turn them into laws to lock up our children at 13 years old, sending our children off to adult prisons and don't have a problem with it. You cannot tell me you believe in a higher power, and this higher power that you believe in says love, take care, and do all these things, and you have no conscience in locking up babies. Because regardless of what we want to say, they're babies. Regardless of whatever they've done, somebody, to be honest with you, somebody didn't do them right, did not give them the whole full story. And that's why we have these kids out here like that. Somebody did not take time out for the children. Now, there are people who have to understand this on the spiritual level. If you raised a child and you've done some things in your past, if you do not think that those things that you've done in your past are going to just disappear, it doesn't happen like that. Because guess what? There's a thing called karma. Good and bad karma. And if you have a child that you can't control, somewhere down the line, you or your significant other and whoever the father, the mother, the grandmother, somebody's done something. And that's why that child is in a position where they're uncontrollable. Okay? That's one of the reasons why. And then we have young parents having babies that are not ready to have babies because they haven't raised them. They haven't been properly raised yet. So when you have this cycle going on, you're going to have a lot of these bad, or what we call kids you can't control. You're going to have them out there. And then sometimes just people, there are just evil people out there, and they raise evil kids. and that kid is going to be evil. You can't save everybody, just like you can't save all adults. Some of them you just gonna, and I'm not saying throw your child away because you're having issues with them. I'm just saying you need to recognize. But a parent doesn't, because like I said, if you're a parent and you haven't been able to learn how to be a parent, and you haven't been an adult long enough and did adult things and get out in this world and be able to survive this world, having a child should be the last thing on your mind. But we can't control each other's body, even though when it says my choice, your body, my choice, even though
they were happy about that. They were saying that all over the place.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, since we have that mindset, you're going to have a lot more of this, because what we're doing is when we do not let a young lady or woman be in control of her body, that says a lot about you, not her. That says a lot about you, that you have no problem, you have no empathetic mindset, you have no empathetic spirit to allow a young lady or woman to go to make decisions for her body. I think this is the most asinine decision any man can make. But again, we're dealing with control. We're dealing with a narcissistic, hypocritical, contradicting males or society now. And this narcissism is good at gaslighting and keeping these crazy issues in the forefront and not allowing people to be people. This obsession with control has gotten out of control. And the people who think that they're not going to be affected by a lot of things, you guys are going to be surprised. One thing about the African American culture, we have bounced back at everything they've thrown at us. That's why I asked the question, why are we still fighting?
And if you look at I was looking at some pictures from the 60s, early 60s, the 50s and the 60s, where they had the protests, Selma, all these places in the Southwest. They had the big old police dogs, the German Shepherds, and I like German Shepherds. I had one. And they were sticking them on the people, and people were just, I said, how could these people do? Well, two things. How could our people be taking that and getting bit up, and they did it peacefully, and they took it. And then to see the cops, the law enforcement, sick the dogs on these people, and the water hoses, and you know. And
so that goes back to the long history of why we don't trust law enforcement. That's a long history of that.
Yeah.
People, I advise any African American to take time out, and there's a book called Post-Traumatic Slave Disorder. And this book is written by Dr. Joyce DeGruy. I am advising or suggesting that you read that book so that you can understand why we are like we are, because it is in our DNA. It's in our DNA generationally. We've been these people who people don't want to talk about. All y'all do is talk about the past. Y'all talk about slavery, because you know why, you guys? Because it's gone.
It's been changed. It's never.
It's still. We're still fighting those same fights.
They say Ronald Green is still dead today.
Yes.
People want to say.
Yes.
But look, you had the congressional hearings last week where they're talking about trying to do away with DEI.
Yes, diversity, equality, and then inclusion.
Right. And what that's supposed to mean? Okay. Granted, there's some other issues with gender. I get that. Some people might be upset about that from the religious and moral perspective. But I'm looking at it's more targeted towards people of color as far as religious. First, as far as history and the factual history, or getting along on the job, or being hired, or being paid a certain way, and even women being paid equal as men, and even who you decide when you discriminate or not to discriminate against somebody. So I'm looking at that. So we had the hearing. And our favorite congressman from this area, the 3rd Congressional Congressman, Clayford Higgins, that's after we named him on the show, Clayford Higgins. Cartoon Clay, Yosemite Sam, where they at, got his gun blazing, right?
Yeah.
Well, he brought up the point why he supported this bill to the Congressional Committee. Okay. And he said basically about oppression. He said people are being oppressed because of these laws on the book to protect people, to make it so equal. And so our strong sister, which I wish every Louisiana elected official, black elected official, would take note of, Sister Crockett,
out of Texas.
Jasmine Crockett, out of Texas. She laid it down on Clay Higgins, and she said, "What white man has been oppressed?" And I'm thinking she's talking in the context of the way black folk were treated. But I'm not talking about whether somebody was oppressed for something else, on the side of the road. But I wonder if she understands she was, and I'm glad she put it so eloquently. But people out there who are listening and looking, I wonder if she understands that the person saying that, Clayford Higgins, was a master oppressor. As a member of Opelousas PD, he engaged in police brutality, which he had the power at that time to do under the color of law. it wasn't illegal because that then Chief Perry Gallo actually asked him to resign, so he resigned. From there, he went on to St. Larry Parish Sheriff Department, where he did the whole Gremlin Gang video bit that went viral. So he made his way in his under the guise of some false narrative that he's this outstanding police officer, which we had named him a third-rate police officer. So, like Representative Crockett said, what white man has been oppressed in a way black folks have been oppressed in this country in America? And she laid it out exactly how it went down. So we know they got people who engage in oppression, and they use the reverse psychology or reverse narrative that because we're saying you are a racist person, they therefore call you a racist. So that's an old game, and I hope our people don't fall for it. But we, if our Louisiana legislative body in Baton Rouge was to stand up like this sister, I think we'd be better off in this state. And even the so-called new person that could represent the area where you are from, Mr. Cleo Fields, I hope he understands when he goes to Washington, D.C., getting along with people and having that name that you get along don't necessarily make your constituents better off, I just want to throw that in there.
I got you 100%. I got you. What mind boggles me is how does these people get these positions? Because what you just said to me was, it sounds like with Clay Higgins is that he had to do certain things in order. It's almost like he knew he was going to get that position. Because I truly believe there's a lot of voter numbers being moved around in these elections. Because you have to remember what Louisiana's second name is. Their nickname is corruption. So I think a lot of people get in these positions not by the work.
He mirrors the president. Not the smartest, not the most moral person.
Trump got in there.
But that's the mindset of these people. And say something crazy against people of color, and racists actually propelled Trump and Clay Higgins and Jeff Landry.
Yeah, it's made
all of them. So,
but because of their supporters,
the electorate is the problem, not them.
Yeah,
the electorate.
It's the ideal that people who support that mindset, and it's an ignorant, lack of knowledge mindset, because when they literally,
I'm gonna give them a little bit credit on that because I think it's blatant racism, evil racism.
Yeah, I'm saying that in the same sense, but because they determined not to know. A lot of them purposely not, even when you explain it to them. Oh, no, that's not what they're clueless on what you're saying. But I think it's deliberate to say that I don't know something. And I don't believe that's happening to me. That didn't really, and that's that impression of, okay, these persons are are they really not knowing what's really going on? And they're just gonna go in this thing blindly. But what we have to keep in mind, we're in Louisiana. We're 49th, 50th, and most of every stat there is, okay? I think our priorities are wrong as a country, for one thing, and as a state, our priorities are wrong. I think this thing of allowing what's happening is the white supremacist mindset, they're on top now.
Right.
And they're pushing everything through just in case something comes through and stop all what they're doing. They're trying to get everything done. They're trying to the ideal that our DA, Philip Terrell is our DA, our local Rapides Parish.
Rapides Parish.
The ideal that he stood behind Landry when he signed off on our children going to jail, that bill, and put it into law at a younger age. Because we have an issue back at home where our youth are, in other words, out of control. Instead of putting programs in place, because a lot of this is just direction. I've worked with children majority of my life.
Right.
And I've worked as a cadre at the Youth Challenge program, so I've seen these same children that are out here. And a lot of these children are missing one thing, and that's love and boundaries. Well, two things, boundaries. And someone to listen to what they're going through. That's what a lot of these children are missing, because they're coming from homes that are broken. Okay, not only because it's got one single parent in it, but it's broken. She's doing everything. The mother is carrying all the load. And then lots of times the fathers are locked up. So we designed a system where we can lock up all our young men and our men, period. We lock them up away from their families. So eventually I'm going to see dad. I'm going to see my uncle. I'm going to see my cousin in the same situation that my dad's in, because the system is set up that way. And we want to say, well, you just got to teach your child. No, it takes a lot more than just teaching our children, because each generation is different. In this generation, we want to say they're lost, but they're not. A lot of them are highly intelligent. They just don't have a direction.
Right.
And they're just like us. They get discouraged and they get down and depressed, and they need to find a way to alleviate all of that. I'm not saying it's good to do it in a negative way, but that's all they know. Our housing, see, when we talk about a system of poverty, poverty does what? What does poverty do?
A lot of negative.
Poverty creates crime.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm in an environment where there's holes in my wall because my landlord, I'm renting, and my landlord won't fix the house I'm in, and my children have to be wrapped up and bundled up in clothes all day, they don't have washer and dryer, they don't have the necessities that we're supposed to have.
Having exposed to hazardous situations.
That's right.
Mold has an effect upon the development of young people.
Yes.
And their mind.
That's right. Lead, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
These landlords are not doing, so it starts from home. If home is not right, you can guarantee everything else.
There's an apartment complex in Latvia that's been in the news, made national news, Himbola Garden Apartments. Mm-hmm. It's making national news. In New Iberia, there's a few apartments that's starting to make the news round with mold. Mm-hmm. So, why do we fight? We're still having the same issues, the same issues that we had in the 60s, mold, overcrowding, rundown, and you hear these conservatives say, well, that's their own fault because they don't take care of this stuff. Well, most of the time you have slumlords who are making money, the state giving them a pass, and they're making a whole lot of money, not keeping the project, don't have any type of incentive for tenants to keep up the home they're in. It's like a fertile ground. If you don't have fertile ground, you're not going to grow no good plants.
Exactly.
So if you have rundown housing projects, rundown areas of the city, you're going to have negative vibes.
That's right.
You're going to have everything negative. The domino falls in a negative way on each other.
Exactly.
Things will get worse.
Exactly. And so now this child is raised up in all of this negativity. Mm-hmm. So they have to find an outlet to that. So how do they find an outlet? You can't say, oh, my life is beautiful, even though when I go home, I'm fighting roaches just to get in my bed at night. And like you said, they haven't had the opportunity to be taught how to do things properly. The parents don't, and the child doesn't. So when they don't have those opportunities, it has always been about opportunity.
And with a negative life comes negative influences.
Influences.
For instance, I'm going to just use this major example. If Kodak Black getting pardoned by Trump, and he sings 24 hours of drill music, well, that tells you what they embrace for us.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what they want us to have, the Kodak Black music, listening to the drill music, and then we have all these homicides in our neighborhood. And even though the music is not directly the cause of it, it's the indirect cause and effect of listening to that type of mentality. Yeah. So when you go to your mold-infested apartment in an area of the city that has high crime and gunshots and run-down area, you got all these negative pressures on you, pressure's on you. So, what type of person you think that's going to turn out?
Exactly. And when this happens, we need leaders, we need mentors, we need our African American fathers who've already raised their children to come in. We don't even have mentors anymore. It's like that like went away or something, because now you got some of our older men doing some.
They're wilding out too.
You know, they try that midlife crisis.
I listen to a little Kodak Black sometimes.
Yeah, I do that. I'll sag my pants, you know, and walk around and drinking beer under the trees and stuff. You know, so they don't have the proper. Yeah, it is a lot wrong with that. They don't have the proper influence to move them forward and give them something to look forward to. Mm-hmm. So, and again, going back to when we talked about unity, those problems have to be addressed.
But they have some external forces. You think media has a big part?
I think media has definitely
even in this last election.
Yes, I think it has. I think we should, and I'm a fanatic for my phone. I think there should be an age limit on when a child should have a cell phone. I think that we should teach our children before they come to the age of being able to have a phone. I think they should know a whole bunch of other things and put those phones away if they have one. It's amazing that we as parents, and I'm getting ready to fuss about parents, we pay $300,000 and $500,000 for a phone, but we won't take that and put it into their education. If little Johnny is having problems with math, but you gave him that phone, just imagine how much you could have paid for a tutor. If he having a problem with reading, you gave him that phone, just imagine how much you could have paid for a tutor for reading. You give him the PS5s and all those different game systems, and that's all he knows how to play. But he's failing in school. You could have taken that PS5, sell it, and get him a tutor.
And you know, there are some children who you think growing up going to be the worst of the worst, and
they'd be the best.
They'd be the best. And I see what is the issue? The issue is letting a child go run run wild in the field, play ball, play football, play basketball, play baseball. Do a lot of the things that we did back in the day. And I'm not saying our days was better.
No.
But I think a human being has to have that type of physical activity for their brain to develop right. But if we put them constantly 24/7 in front of these devices, such as myself, because I was a nerd and I did get my children play these games, and they turned out all right. But I'm just saying, not everyone could handle those type of situations, you know. It takes a balance.
It takes a balance. You're saying that, and we talk about our childhood. I grew up in the projects of Albany, New York. I lived in the projects. We lived in poverty. But my mom was an activist from day one. My first march was on Washington when we were about 5 or 6 years old. Richard Nixon at the time was in office, and he was taking away programs that were benefiting our area in Albany. And my mom and some other mothers and other community leaders got together and got about 5 or 6 busloads, and we went and we marched on Washington. So that's always been in me, because I got that from my mom. And being able to be raised in doesn't mean you have to stay in poverty. Okay, I have 4 sisters. Well, we lost one, but we're not in jail. We're not on the streets. We're not doing anything. We're living our lives. We turned out to be productive citizens. So but also we moved out of that environment also. So that helped out too. But look where we came to. But my mom's originally from here, so she even thought to get out of what was going on here, because she grew up with picking cotton. Okay, so coming from all of.
But I just heard somebody say that Well, they just did a release after Trump won, say you can put,
Yeah.
Denzel said you can put cotton all on you Negroes.
Yeah.
But that is funny, but it's not funny.
Yeah.
Because I don't think black folk gonna sit down.
I think these people is not going to do this, and
Yeah.
eventually, I think that there is going to be a unifying, not only
something
of us,
significant. Yeah.
but I think unifying of others,
Mm.
because it's going to impact them. It's not going to only impact us; it's going to impact them too. And so they're going to say,
I
"Wait a
can give
minute."
you a big example
Mhm.
that they said he going day one. He's going down to the border with their guns, and they're going to all the states that support him. And you heard me say that 1,000 times, Jeff Landry. They're going to round up the migrants and the immigrants, to use those two words, and they're going to take them to detention camp. Well, I dare say, those who are listening in the South Louisiana area, that Jeff Landry and Donald Trump not going to go down to St. Mary Parish where the mill at, the sugar mill at, or the Iberia Parish where the sugar mill is at in Mobraham, or the one in Patroville. I say they won't go down and round up all these migrants and take them away, because guess what? All these migrants and people and these companies that own these sugar plantations and sugar mills are big givers to the Republican Party. No way in hell they would be rounding the same people that's making them a profit, because they're paying them less money.
Mm-hmm.
So I say, why they're lying like that? Why are they lying to people and people can't see through the,
Exactly.
what's going on? Sister?
Call back in, caller. Go ahead, caller.
Yes, very good and nice program. I wanted to say that since the new president is a convicted felon 34 times, I'm trying to see the highlight, whereas, okay, you got Louisiana had the highest incarceration rate in the world. We unjustly denied parole eligibility.
Sure did.
So, line about offenders, many of whom are first time. So now, I'm waiting for these forms to change. And it would be nothing to do with convicted felons. If you're a convicted felon of 35 times, then, you can't get into the housing. But these new forms need to be applied, and they need to be applied immediately.
You're saying that because somebody's getting a free pass?
And that's another thing we're showing the world. Yeah.
Somebody's getting a free pass.
Well, you're talking about the president, the elected president, whatever.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Well, he gets special allowances because he's Donald J. Trump.
Well, that's what the white card is all about.
Yeah.
That's what white supremacy is all about.
Okay.
That's what white hate is all about. So
That's right.
that's where we're at with that.
Yeah. And I'm glad you said that, because I that's why I think it's a cognitive dissonance going on here, because these people are clueless. We allowed this to happen in America. And let me tell you something.
When we use the white supremacists.
Let me tell you something, good old Americans, okay? They're laughing at us. There's people who feel sorry for us in other countries. They know that a lot of us are so embarrassed with the decision that we made as a whole. They're embarrassed. They know that we feel some kind of way. I cried for you. You know why I'm saying this? Because I've read other people's messages in different groups. And these people from Australia, from the Netherlands, all over Sweden, they say, I cry for you guys. So don't think we can stand around like the eagle and puff our chests out and think everything is great. But y'all, we are a pitiful sight to other nations.
With a trickle down situation when those who say, I understand when the men say, let's sit back, get the popcorn and watch them fight it out, the Democrats, the liberals, the conservatives, and so forth. But overall, when you have fights and wars or whatever you have mentally or whatever, you have some casualties. Mm-hmm. The casualty might be you losing your health care coverage.
Yeah.
Or the casualty might be you losing some of your veteran benefits. Mm-hmm. So I'm saying it's easy. We could say that, right? But let's still pay attention how much it's going to affect us.
Yeah.
Don't, you know, when it trickle down, not trickle down economics, trickle down garbage or trickle down mess or whatever that the cause and effect of what's going to happen if they are able to enact some of these things.
Exactly.
Not everything they could try.
But you got to remember this about us, and we as a people have to understand we have been through a lot. I said earlier, we're resilient. We bounce back off of the craziest things, y'all. Look at what we have bounced back off of. Everything that they've tried to silence us, to put us in a corner, to say we can't, we've bounced back from it every time. You think that's going to stop now?
Yeah,
So it's never. We're not going to stop.
But he was saying we people like us, we oppressing them. Their existence.
Oh, yeah.
We're oppressing the
Of
white
course.
man's existence.
And that's a gaslighting, like Sister Crockett said. Senator Crockett said. Congress Crockett said. She said that's gaslighting, and that's a narcissistic move to gaslight somebody. Oh, look what you're taking me through.
Because he is a narcissist.
Yeah.
He is a narcissist,
Yeah.
Clay.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
he dressed the type. He even looked the type. I like that though.
And they're laughing regardless of how the United States all of a sudden became Republican all the way through.
What do you think, sister? You don't think when I criticize a local election, because we got a caller that criticized the election leads down the dog catcher, and I do support him on that. But you think we giving our elected, because you know they the one too shameless to vote. You got a lot of people who are elected in Baton Rouge now say it's a shame we didn't go vote. You got a lot of so-called civil rights groups in this area say it's a shame y'all don't participate. Y'all voted, that wouldn't happen. So when y'all get into office, state representative so and so, do y'all stand up and say support people like Jasmine Crockett? Do y'all tell Jeff Landry his policy is wrong, even though y'all might vote against it? You know, might take a active vote. Do y'all stand in unison with the NAACP, the Urban League, and stand up and say, look, let's not go participate in Southern Grambling. Southern Grambling going to have to take the fall this year. The Super Bowl will have to take, New City, New Orleans have to take the fall. We not participating. We telling black folks to turn around, don't go spend your money in the state of Louisiana. So you think that's an option that we should have taken, because this stuff going to be serious. So after the fall of Southern Grambling wear off, and the fall of the Super Bowl held in the Louisiana Superdome wear off, and we come down to let's cut them these black folks whatever services that they might need. Let's cut the funding for this that affect people of color. Let's lock up more black folks. You think people gonna realize that we played too much into the system? You know.
I think when we choose leaders.
By the way, Southern Grambling is on right now.
Yeah, it's Bayou Classics now. Yeah. Well,
and I'm missing it right now because I want to be on your show.
Is that true? Okay. Well, my niece graduated from Grambling. My thing is with our leadership, when we pick leaderships, we understand that they gotta play ball because they're the minority. They're literally the minority in both our houses, right? So with them being a minority, they got to play along to a certain extent. But again, it goes back to the idea that people are not empathetic, because it doesn't matter what party affiliation you are. If you're not an empathetic person.
We as a group, the same people we talking about as like black folks is not. Let's say separate them because they voted for who they wanted. We don't understand what's at play here. We not, we don't understand.
We're not empathetic toward each other, so we're missing that.
Right.
Yes.
Right. We'd rather be at Southern Grambling game,
Yeah, and because actually today is a runoff, like I said earlier, and we've been trying to encourage people to go to the polls. We put ballots together. We've done the whole 9 yards, and if they don't want to go to the polls, we can't. I mean, all you can do is tell them, here, this is what you need to go vote for. We know today is the last day of early voting. It's mysteriously, we have the Bayou Classics going on today. If you
like the other big election we had.
Yeah, we had the same thing the last time. So you have December 7th, You don't have to, the next time you're gonna have that opportunity is gonna be December 7th. Hopefully everything works out. Hopefully you can go to your polling place and there's no issue. We had issues the last time at our polling places, but we definitely encourage people to go out and early vote. We wound up with runoffs in our election, so that's the reason why we're at the polls again. And runoffs are done on purpose. Let me explain to y'all about runoffs. Runoffs are done on purpose. They are able, if there's two people running for one position, for a district, for instance, and all of a sudden this lone rider comes in, out of nowhere, they're gonna run. Mm-hmm. They don't have no foundation to run on, they don't have nothing, but they're in the race. You guys be careful of that person, because that person is in there to pull the numbers away from the two main people who should be running. Yeah. That's why you have a runoff.
We've seen that in Iberia Parish with a certain
It happened to us this time twice. We have a councilman at large position right now, and we have District 1 is running, and District 3 wound up getting her spot back. But District 1 wound up in a runoff. The reason why they ran because there was a long rider came in. I'm just calling that, it's not what it is, but it's a long rider to me. Then on our city councilman at large position, a long rider was in there. So this is my deal, and you watch these people after they've done their division, they've taken those votes away. You ask that person, when that happens, ask them, so who are you going to back? Who are you going to encourage the people who voted for you? Who are you gonna encourage them to vote for? Because that'll tell you right then and there who that person really was and why they were there. If they didn't have any type of foundation and didn't have nothing to run on, you can guarantee you they were paid by somebody that didn't want you to win or didn't want your constituent or your candidate to win. Promise you that. I've seen it happen too many times. And we've lost good people that were gonna get in there and do the fight because of that. And you have to be careful of that. And when it's called splitting the vote. Right. And we deal with that a lot in our Black communities, because let me tell you something. We don't control anything because we don't put people in positions to control what we need to get controlled. We don't buy our candidates, they do. They buy our candidates, they buy people to buy our candidates. That's what they do. That's the corruption we talk about. So your new congressional, you're not in that district with the newly formed district. Cleo Field, no, I don't fall into that. District 6? Yeah. So, people should be aware to see how you vote, even though because there's a razor thin majority now in the Congress, and the Congress, they could be looking to the Congress now for to blunt some of the stuff that this administration will be doing. So I'm very curious to see how you're going to vote. I'm curious about that District 6 thing, and this maybe we might. That district not gonna last. Yeah, it's got 6 years. I think it's in 2 years. 2 years. Okay. No, I'm saying the district itself. Well, they say they're trying to go back to the Supreme Court and redraw the map. But even the gerrymandering. Let me tell you something. They do that a lot now. They did it with us. After the map was approved, they went back. We have a city council person, her name is Lizzie Felton, and she's over District 4. City of Alexandria. City of Alexandria, I apologize, I should have said that. City of Alexandria, she's the councilwoman for District 4. Now, she knew in 2 years she comes up for an election, right? She knows that when they did the original map, that she fell in District 3, but she was already in her position as the District 4 city council person, so they couldn't move her out of it, right? So what she did, her and the mayor and the planning commission got together and redrew the maps and put her back in District 4 because she would have been in a predominantly Black district. Right. District 3 in our area is a predominantly Black district. She didn't want to be in that district, and she knew she couldn't run unless she would run in District 3 council race, that wouldn't be happening because we already have somebody for District 3, and that person doesn't come up for the next 4 years. She comes up for her district in 2 years, in 2026. So they knew she couldn't run again if she would have been in District 3. The only thing she could have ran for is the other seat for city council at large, because we have 2 city councilmen at large. So she turns around, and like I said, she got with the planning commission, she got with the mayor, because the mayor, we have one of those mayors, and they got together and they redid the map so she could stay in District 4. Which what happened was this election, this past election, people were confused at where they were supposed to go to the precincts to vote at. Is that a way of voter suppression?
Yeah.
Don't you think that's a form of voter suppression? Because those people did not know where they needed to go because they were gerrymandered out of their districts. Because it was not only her affected by that, other people were affected by that. Matter of fact, 2 districts were affected by them gerrymandering her, she doing her gerrymandering so she could get back in District 4. These are the things we talk about. And these are the things that we as people have to pay attention to. When you holler to me and say, oh, I'm not into politics, why not? Because I just gave you a perfect example why you should be, especially your local politics.
Right.
Because those people, that's going to affect taxes in their areas. That's going to affect everything when you gerrymander someone out of a district that they've been in. This was just so that you could go back. And it was only for one reason, for her to go back to District 4. So when her time up to come for election, she'll be able to run for that same seat.
And the power in the whole national election emanated from the local.
That's from the local.
All
That's
the local
right.
district that was gerrymandered.
That's right. So
that gave them the power to get that electoral
That's
college. Because actually, the vote, the popular vote count, it dropped for him when they started counting the regular votes for Trump. He wasn't a landslide like they claimed to be.
but it wasn't those numbers.
Yeah.
And that's why we say it's important, you guys, as African Americans, you guys definitely understand your politics, especially if you don't understand it on the national level, understand it on your local level.
You don't want your Medicaid cut, which they're planning. Elon Musk, who y'all think so highly of, because people always saying he was so smart. No, he made the right moves in hiring the best people. That's all. Because actually, he's not a self-made person. His father is filthy rich. His father had mines in South Africa. He got his money from his father, just like Donald Trump did. So they exploit apartheid South Africa. Elon Musk father exploited the political climate in South Africa and exploited the land, those emerald mines and other mines he invested in. He already had money, so don't think that Elon Musk was so smart. He hired the best people, but he's actually, his eye is on dominating more, making more money while you stay poor. So don't think he's all of that.
Exactly. And we have to, I just want us as people to be more smart and take time out. Let me tell you something. Our local news is fine. Listening to the national news is fine. But you guys, going to your city council meetings and understanding how government works in itself is more important than anything. The reason why I know is because I've been kicked out of city council meetings, okay?
You and some other people.
Yeah.
I know.
Because I like to ask questions and I like to know things because it's got to make, see, I'm a type of person where it's got to make sense to me. If it don't make sense to me, I'm asking till it does. If you can't make it make sense, because we always say, make it make sense. You guys have to be more knowledgeable. You have to want to know what's going on in your communities, what's going on in your government, because there's so many things that are going over our heads. You don't have people to explain anything to you when they pass these bills and these laws and these ordinances. I don't know how y'all set up. Well, you guys are set up on what is it? Just, do y'all have a city council?
I know the city of New Iberia has a city council. Lafayette has a city parish council.
City parish council,
Yeah,
okay.
consolidated.
You have consolidation,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, so
Brother
it's,
Wallace, on Wallace Show, he tackles that all the time.
okay.
And
So it's
sometimes,
it's different from ours.
Yeah.
Because we have the
Mhm.
regular city council, 7-man city council, the mayor. Okay, so learn those things, learn who's who. Not just to be their buddies, but learn what they're doing, because this is how I vote for people when I go to the polls. I look, if they've already been in that seat, I go for what their voting record is and how did it benefit me and my community. Go ahead.
Hey, shut up, Dave. Hey, good evening.
Good evening.
Excellent show, excellent show. And y'all cover a lot of ground. But the thing that stands out to me, we try to find out what can we do to enhance our community, to enhance our potentials as human beings, but specifically as Black folk here in America.
Mm-hmm.
We know that systematically that white folks, and I have to use the term white folks, because they are the constructors
Mm-hmm.
of the system that we find ourselves suffering on.
That's right.
I say that, and I think this is just me opining to what's going on in our life as Black people.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Black folk must have a thorough, a leadership that will help us to get a thorough knowledge of ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And let me put emphasis on here, a thorough knowledge of our enemy.
Mm-hmm.
And who is our enemy?
Exactly.
When we talk about the prison industry, when we talk about the financial industry, the private sector, we know who our enemy is, but we have to begin to teach our people who the enemy is. And again, I want to call them devils because they have constructed a system that has systematically suppressed a nation within this nation.
Exactly.
Now, I heard you also mention that America, we should be embarrassed among the world. Yes, not us as Black folk, because when other world leadership, other world countries see this country, Black folks is out of their brain, it's nowhere in their mind, because they know that Black folks haven't constructed, Black folks don't control the financial system,
Mm-hmm.
Black folks don't control the military industry, Black folks don't control anything, so the embarrassment is actually the devil, which is the white man that has constructed, again, a system that is advocating war, poverty, imprisonment, slavery, and all the other things that is called, that falls under the area of mistreatment.
Dominance, yeah.
Yes. And I'm saying that because, again, I don't want to sound redundant. I believe that we as a people have to get thorough knowledge, again, of our enemy, a thorough knowledge of ourselves. So by no means can we be directed rightly until we have a thorough knowledge of ourselves and the devil, and no one else, a thorough knowledge of God.
Yes,
And I say that because we have been rid by the devil. The devil, yes, we've been rid by him. We've been raised by him.
Exactly.
The devil knows us why they know us why we don't even know ourselves.
They do. They've studied us.
Now, I don't want to get religious, but the Quran talks about it. The Quran talks about it, right? And expresses the purpose of saving our people from the hellfire by way of separation. And what is separation? Separation, not necessarily living with people of a different culture. Separation is constructing a system that will make your nation sustain its
Right.
On its own.
Separating yourself from a system that allows your people life to be sustained. That's the separation we have to do. And in that separation, we incorporate a concept of our own selves by the grace of God.
Exactly.
You know, it is so strange today to see that the black man of America does not desire to separate himself from the very desires that the enemy influences him by.
Exactly. You're right. You're correct. Thank you for that. Thank
You
you
know?
so much. You're correct with that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You know, so my point is this, and I'm just sum it up. God has to strike both of us, both parties. That white man who I call the devil, and the black man who I call who are deaf, blind, and dumb lovers of that enemy.
Yes,
Right?
Yes.
And eventually what we're going to see, and I'm not prophesying something, what we're experiencing a severe chastisement because we refuse to separate ourselves.
Yes, sir.
Exactly.
And then I just want to share that, and I appreciate y'all's show, and it's very inspiring. It just encouraged me to call, man. Thank y'all so much. Thank you, Sister Celie and Brother Jim.
Thank you, and you have a great evening.
Yes, sir.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Yes,
Yes, that was, I like what he was saying.
Oh, yeah.
Because you know what
put
happens?
it in the right context of what,
That's
what
when
we
we say
the
separation.
title of our show, how we still fight. Yeah, you put it in the right context.
And I like that because the first thing everybody's saying, oh, why you want to get away from us? Well, because we're not making it here.
Clay Higgins did say,
We oppress you.
we oppressing by our existence.
So,
our existence
Our mere
causing
existence.
the
Exactly.
oppression of Clay Higgins.
Yes.
And that's why Jasmine, I could see what she said. And I think that's not important, not because she's saying some stuff that, well, we got a sister popping off. Well, listen. No, it's significant.
Listen. It's listening.
It's significant that we understand what is going on here. To insult one's intelligence by reversing the narrative.
That's right.
And that's what they do all the time.
They
You know,
do
just
all
like
the
when you
time.
tell a judge, what you mean I done this? And the judge said, no, you did that and you know you didn't do it.
Exactly. Exactly.
So, sister, I know time is running
We
down.
got 6 minutes. We got 6
minutes,
minutes.
okay.
Like they use that song, the 6 minutes.
Yeah. 6 minutes Dougie Fresh.
Yeah.
But one of the things, tell us about Universal Collective. How can we listen to those great shows that you guys be doing late, well into late night?
Well, we
send your complaints. What's the address over here?
It's 915 3rd Street.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys can listen to us. We have actually Universal Collective Network is an actual Facebook page. And you can go on that Facebook page and you can find all our videos. You go into our video section and you will see our shows. Now, let me say something. I always got to give you guys this disclaimer when you go listen to our shows. Our shows are very controversial and they can be walked through. Yes. Good evening.
Good evening, caller.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hey, look at, I was just calling to tell you guys, y'all having a wonderful show. Y'all trying to wake up the masses of people that are still asleep.
Yes.
But we got to remember, we went to their school, and their school taught us what they want us to learn
That's right.
and know. And they taught us to go to their side, not to be on our side.
Exactly.
When the Catholic school did it very well, taught kids how to be a part of their world, not a part of their own world.
Yeah.
The sister's leader, you know, I appreciate you. I appreciate Brother Jay for all that y'all doing to try to bring awareness to the people that need to be woke up.
Thank you so
And I
much.
thank you guys. I watched the whole program, and you had an awesome program. Brother Jay, don't ever feel that you had a true vision. You know, you're the one man show, bro.
Yeah, yes. Thank you for that, because he needs that.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, definitely. It's funny, you guys. We started off kind of flaky, but we got it together because we came like Never mind. You guys have to learn how production works, how things work on the outside. It looks perfect on the TV, on the screen.
Yeah, anything
But
can go.
anything can go wrong. Okay. But so we're gonna have to wind this down because it's time to go. Yeah, you asked me about Universal Collective Network. You can go on strictly go to Facebook, and Universal Collective Network is the name of the Facebook page, and you can go in there and you can look at our videos, and you can check me out here on Thursdays. I think it's 7:00. And the name of my show is the Empower Her Show. And it's talking about a lot of women issues and men issues, but I kind of take on my life coaching hat. I put that on, and
I definitely want to get into that. Shout out to brother Tavares Swap.
Yes, shout out to my whole crew.
Yeah.
Miss Summer, Tavares, Nat, Miss Linda. That is our whole crew back at home. Thank you guys. Thank you for being with us. 9 years we've been running that show. And love it, love the people. You get that. If you get a good tribe, everything will work out for you. I promise you. Again. And guys, thank you very much for this time. Thank you, AOC. Thank you, Brother Jay. You guys have a great evening, and bye-bye.
All right, y'all are clear.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.